Should we lead with The Rock being back?
No, save it for the last bit.
Oh, okay. The Rock's back. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
We see Cody Rhodes walking through the building, as is par for the course at the start of Raw or SmackDown, when he sees Nick Aldis. Aldis says he's been pulled from the six-man tag. Rhodes asks why. Aldis says he's out of his hands. The final boss wants to see you. So, Vince McMahon is...
No, it's The Rock.
What, Vince isn't back?
No, it's The Rock.
Oh, is it heel Rock or is it face Rock?
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
If you don't mind, please give us a subscribe. We'd appreciate it very much. Thank you.
First match of the night. Yes, I know, already. Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy starts strong with a crossbody, but Drew soon slows him down with two belly-to-bellies, with Jimmy then escaping the ring, getting back in and diving out at Drew. Drew then hits Jimmy with an inverted Alabama slam into the ring steps. No yeets on the announcer's desk, and then before you know it, we have both wrestlers on the middle rope.
A break?
Yep. Jimmy knocks Drew down to the mat when he hits him with the Uso in the wind, leaving both men down.
Not for long though, as they're soon hitting one another, with Jimmy Samoan dropping Drew and getting a 2 count cover. Jimmy sets off for a spear, only to be met with a flying headbutt, spinebuster and jackknife pin attempt for 2. We then go back to punching, with Drew then climbing to the top rope to hit. Well, I don't know, because on landing he eats a super kick from Jimmy and gets speared and then covered for 2. The Claymore is stopped by a super kick, which is then followed up by a headbutt from Drew, with Drew then telling Jimmy that this is his WrestleMania. Drew backs Jimmy up into the corner and then sets him up for another inverted Alabama slam.
As Drew slams Jimmy, Jimmy counters into a victory roll, pinning the Scottish Warrior and picking up the win. After the match, McIntyre attacks the Uso and tells him he means nothing to him before setting him up for a Claymore against the ring post. Luckily for Big Jim, officials from backstage came out for the save, sending Drew back up the rampway. Halfway up the ramp, Drew has a change of heart, dives back into the ring, bounces off the ropes and claymores Jimmy.
Next we see Solo Sikoa arriving by car, getting out and making his way into the arena when he's confronted by Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Solo says what happened to Tama last week was an accident, spiked mistakenly by Solo, with Jacob saying, yeah, all good Oos, because if it wasn't an accident, you wouldn't be standing here right now. Solo says, good, I'm glad we're all on the same page. Solo then says he'll be in their corner for their match later, while Fatu says no, it'll be me and you running the play instead. Solo responds by saying, that right there is exactly why I love you, before heading off to talk with Nick Aldis.
We then get a run through of who's in the men's elimination chamber before we see a clip from earlier today of R-Truth confronting Carmelo Hayes. Truth says we have a match tonight. Hayes says we had a match last week. Truth says I've never met you before in my life. Adding we have a tag match tonight. Hayes asks him who made the match, with Truth saying him. Hayes says, we ain't doing this again, I'm him. Truth points behind Hayes saying him made the match, with The Miz then coming into shot saying I'm him. Miz says they are Melo don't Miz. Hayes says no we're not. Miz says we are tonight and then asks Truth who his partner is. Truth says he has a guy, a Louisiana legend.
We see a vignette from Zelina Vega saying this is a fresh start and she has something to prove.
Next up, The Miz and Carmelo Hayes versus R-Truth and LA Knight. No, he's not from Louisiana. Maryland, FYI. Truth and Hayes start us off with quick pins before Truth hip tosses Hayes and then gets down for the count as if he's the ref. Hayes kicking out of nothing on 2. Never seen him do that before, but it was very funny.
He is funny.
LA comes in with a swinging neckbreaker and gets a 2 count before tagging Truth back in, with he and Hayes once again going at it. Truth, after running into Hayes, then tags The Miz. Yes, you heard me right, The Miz, before Hayes knocks him from the apron to the floor after he'd climbed through the ropes.
Back from the break, and we're back in the ring with Truth hitting a suplex stunner to Hayes, with both men then tagging out to their respective partners. Knight bests Miz and Hayes with a leaping clothesline, stomps, a running knee, power slam and elbow drop. The follow-up cover on Miz gets a 2. Hayes then blind tags in while Knight botches a move on the Miz. No idea what he was going for. Knight catches Hayes' attempt at the first 48, then goes for BFT, but Hayes pushes LA towards his corner where Truth tags in. Truth then performs his Cena tribute act on Hayes before looking for and hitting the 5-knuckle shuffle. Hayes escapes an AA attempt, with Truth locking in the STF instead. Miz makes the save, with Knight then coming in and sending Miz over the top rope. Knight follows, with both men then fighting on the outside.
LA and Miz fight near the ring announcer's barrier when out of nowhere, well, the shadows, Shadow Shinsuke strikes and attacks Knight. The ref didn't call for the bell because, of course, he didn't see anything.
Never does.
Miz tags back in, holds Truth in position and allows Hayes to hit first 48. This does for Truth as Miz then covers his old tag partner for the 1, 2, 3.
Now, Miz had Truth in the school crushing finale.
Yeah.
He had him held up. And obviously Hayes came in from the front of the first 48. And I think they're trying to incorporate the two finishes together.
Yeah.
But you can't, because Hayes has to have the opponent's head / chin / face on his knees, whereas Miz needs their face to hit the mat. But you can't, because Hayes' legs are in the way. So Miz sort of had to drop to his knees.
Yeah.
And it didn't really... I can see what they're doing,
trying to do, yeah.
but it didn't flow. But if they keep... Miz, Melo don't Miz... If they keep trying that, they might work something out. Anyway, we get a recap from last week of Charlotte Flair choosing Tiffany Stratton before our next match, Tiffany Stratton versus Candice LeRae. Can't believe Stratton's not been allowed to change that belt to pink yet. I thought she would have done that, considering what her Money in the Bank briefcase looked like. I thought she'd have gone down that route. I know that Nia Jax got the briefcase, but I thought they may have allowed her to change the colour. Anyway, before the match, Stratton cuts a promo and she wants to talk about Charlotte Flair. The crowd boo. Stratton says her dreams came true and that she's coming for the spot that Flair desires the most, the #1 spot as the top girl in the WWE. Nia Jax and LaRae then head out. Jax says Stratton won't even see WrestleMania because after Elimination Chamber, she's coming back for her WWE Championship. So that'll be another... title match somewhere between the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. Stratton tells Jax to give it up. I think she should. With LaRae saying they're impatient before her and Jax get in the ring. A referee enters the ring, getting between the three women as we head to a break. When we come back, the match has already started.
Just as Stratton's getting on top of things, Charlotte Flair heads out and joins commentary. With Stratton then missing her tumbling handspring to the corner. Stratton double stomps LaRae and gets a 2 count, while Barrett asks Flair how much of a threat Stratton is to her. Flair says everyone's a threat. We then see Tiffany land a moonsault on Jax and LaRae to the outside, and then cut to her landing a tumbling handspring to the corner.
Break?
Yep. Stratton then misses a swanton off the top rope with LaRae covering and very nearly getting a 3 count.
Stratton then hits a rolling senton and looks for the prettiest moonsault, but Jax pulls LaRae from the ring, with Stratton following, drop kicking her and then Alabama slamming LaRae into the crowd barrier. Kinda. Stratton then points to the WrestleMania sign while standing in front of Flair. Stratton rolls LaRae back into the ring, hits the prettiest moonsault and covers her for the win. After the match, Jax attacks the women's champion and sets up for the Annihilator, but who should out for the save? Trish Stratus. She kicks Jax and then Luthes presses LaRae. The heels then get their revenge with Jax double stacking Trish and Stratton before annihilating both of them. Flair then enters the ring and points to the WrestleMania sign.
Backstage we see Cody Rhodes speaking with Damian Priest. Priest asks why The Rock's here. Cody doesn't know, but is sure it'll be eventful. Priest says he respects Cody to say it to his face and that after the chamber he's coming for his title. Rose says he wouldn't have it any other way before walking off. Strowman then enters the frame saying if it wasn't for Solo, Elimination Chamber would be looking a whole lot different next week. Priest tells Braun to take it easy, saying we need to handle business tonight.
We then get a run through of who's in the Women's Elimination Chamber before going backstage to see Byron Saxton with Bianca Belair and Naomi. Saxton brings up the Jade Cargill incident again. Why is he always stirring it? With Naomi saying she knows Morgan and Rodriguez are responsible. Saxton says you can have revenge on Monday when you defend your titles on Raw against them. How ready are you? Belair says they're ready.
Next we have a vignette from Alexa Bliss. She says she'll turn the chamber into a playground of her own, saying she knows the chamber, loves the chamber, and has won the chamber. She adds that this is her domain and that she is in charge, which alludes to the Wyatt Six glitch asking, "Do you feel in charge?" from last week. Interesting.
Or it could have absolutely nothing to do with it.
This is very true.
Let's just wait and see what happens, because we haven't seen the White Six yet at all.
No. Are they even still about?
I have no idea. Out comes Naomi for her match with Liv Morgan. Belair, of course, alongside. As the two get on the apron during their entrance, they're attacked by Morgan and Rodriguez. Rodriguez hits the Tajina bomb on Belair, while Morgan oblivions Naomi. Officials come out, but the damages have been done. The two chicks with attitude then head back up the rampway.
As we come back from a break, we see Nick Aldis telling off Morgan and Rodriguez and asking them to get out of his building. The two women respond by laughing in his face and walking off. As Aldis turns around, he runs into Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, with Green saying they'll take Naomi and Belair's place in the Elimination Chamber. Aldis, looking confused, says they'll make it to the chamber, don't worry about that. Aldis has a match lined up for Green next week, but doesn't say what or who.
Out next, The Rock. And he has some good gospel to drop. WrestleMania next year is coming back to New Orleans. The Rock then treats us to a rendition of When the Saints Go Marching In, telling the crowd this ain't no sing-along with the final boss and to shut their mouths when they try to join in. Rock finishes his singing before calling the crowd trailer park trash, so he's funny heel Rock, which is better than a serious heel Rock, before saying he's going to call out a man he respects and admires, Cody Rhodes.
Out comes Cody with the two hugging in the middle of the ring. Rock even planting a kiss on the side of Cody's cheek. Aww. Rock says they love you and then adds since WrestleMania last year he and Cody have become good friends. Rock says Cody is a great WWE champion, but he wants him to understand something. Rock rambles on about TKO owning WWE and how he's on the board of directors and that makes him powerful. This gets a few boos. Before we get to the crux of what The Rock's trying to say. He wants Cody to be his champion. Cody says he's their champion, referring to the crowd. I did think he was going to say he's the people's champion.
I was, no, don't say the people's champion. Rock carries on saying that he can open doors for him and make all Cody's dreams come true, implying he can take him to the next level. He just wants him to be his champion. The one thing that The Rock wants more than anything is a brother, which is what Cody can be. Rock continues, yeah, I know. He says the plans for WrestleMania changed last year because supposedly Cody wouldn't step aside to let The Rock go against Roman Reigns, which was right. You win the Rumble, you go against the champion. Whatever plans they had about Rock and Reigns was just... No, you can't change something that's been solid for 40... Well, not 40 years because they never had the Rumble winner before Mania. But don't change it. Just keep it as it is. Anyway... Rock brought up Cody slapping him, which made him special, according to The Rock, and that's why he should be his champion.
The Rock wants Cody to go home and think about it and come back with an answer at the Elimination Chamber. Rock then says he wants that. His hand kind of raised, pointing at the WWE Championship. Cody says, my title? Rock says no, your soul. And then leaves the ring and heads up the rampway, and occasionally looking back at Cody. What in the blue hell is he on about? Now, is he under Rock or Rock Taker? What is he doing?
I don't know. I mean, he said Cody could realise his dreams with The Rock, but Cody's got his dream. He wants to be WWE champion. He doesn't yearn for anything else.
No.
I don't understand this iteration of The Rock. When he come back and he was kind of normal, when he was telling the fans to shut up, stop booing, this ain't sing along with The Rock. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. That is what I want to see.
That was like when he came back last year.
Well, this has got to be one of the worst ideas for The Rock. And he didn't have to keep messing up his lines. I mean, we mess up our lines, but he kept saying, he said, Cody, you can go here, you can have your drink. 3 times he must have said it.
Yeah, it was just like...
I mean, okay, he's been out of the game, I understand that. But if this is what you want to come back and do, you got to nail your lines. There's no redos, there's no mulligans, this is it. You get out there, you do your piece, you go. But whatever you do, if anybody knows what he's getting at, please let us know in the comments, because I haven't got a clue what he's doing. I want your soul. What?
Yeah.
What's he on about?
I don't know.
I wonder if Undertaker's going to come back and stop it, because Undertaker will be like, no, I'm the soul.
That's
I'm
what
the
I
soul.
do.
I'm the soul keeper. Oh no, you can't have Rock and Cody in a match at Mania.
No.
Because then what's the point in winning the chamber?
Yeah.
Oh, Cena's won the chamber. Oh, well, what am I going to do? I'll just step aside to the Rock and go against Cody. Cena ain't doing that.
No.
Absolute gibberish. Anyway, DIY out next, defending their WWE Tag Team Championships against Pretty Deadly. DIY ask everyone to get to their feet and bow their heads for a minute of silence for Pretty Deadly. This is, of course, interrupted by the "Yes, boys!" PD enter the ring, sending DIY over the top ropes before the match gets underway. Ciampa and Prince both hit a crossbody, flooring the both of them, but managed to tag out, with Wilson then proceeding to batter both DIY members before dropping them with a double clothesline and tagging Prince back in. Gargano then gets Bad Apple gut-busted and covered for 2, with Ciampa then taking a beating from PD. Wilson tags back in, but the match is then interrupted and ended by the Street Profits, who attack both teams. With DIY and PD down, the Motor City Machine Guns decide to head out and go after the Profits. It's to no avail though, as they also get smashed by the Bringers of Smoke.
We see a video from Kevin Owens next.
Oh, from his car?
No, from outside Sami's house.
That's not weird.
He asks Sami if he knows what he's about to put his family through before turning his phone around and filming Sami and his family inside their house. Owens asks what they're going to do when Sami can't provide for them anymore. When he signs off by telling Sami he asked for this and it's all his fault.
Just get back in the car.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, last match of the night, Damian Priest and Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Tama Tonga alongside. As Bloodline 2.0 head through the back, Solo starts to talk to the camera, but gets interrupted by Jacob, who continues to smack talk to Priest and Strowman. Solo does not look happy. As the heels head through Gorilla, Fatu asks for his music, with the bad guys then heading out to the rampway and into the ring. The bell rings and the 4 just stare at one another, until we start with Priest and Solo. The 2 hit each other hard until Priest tags in Braun, who squashes Solo in the corner twice before Solo manages to get away and tag in Jacob.
Strowman big boots Jacob before shoulder tackling him and sending him out the ring. Strowman gets out the ring, building up a head of steam to run Jacob over, but as he gets near the announcer's table, he spies Tama with a chair and knocks it out his hand. Strowman then bears down on Tonga, but doesn't see Jacob coming from his left, and the 2 then crashing over the timekeeper's barrier. I think we come to a break here because all of a sudden we're in the ring with Fatu beating on Strowman before tagging in Solo. Solo hip attacks Braun before re-tagging Fatu, who also hip attacks the downed giant.
Fatu aims for a second corner attack, but Strowman gets a boot up and fights back, putting Fatu down with a spinebuster. Both men, now tied, barely manage to reach their partners, but do, bringing in Priest and Solo. Priest gets the better of Solo, with Fatu coming in and out again after a spinning heel kick from Priest. Priest targets Solo again with the 2 swapping kicks and forearm before Priest executes an elevated flatliner and covers Solo for 2. Priest looks for the razor's edge, giving the crowd a knowing smile because he knows it'll be a job lifting the Samoan because he ain't no 205er, but gets distracted by Tama, who's on the apron. Priest knocks him off, but then gets dropped on the top rope by Fatu.
Priest rebounds right into the awaiting arms of Sikoa, who performs a spinning solo and covers. Priest kicks out on 2. Solo looks for the spike, but Priest grabs Solo by the throat, which in turn brings Fatu in to save his bloodline brother. Priest, though, fights them both off and then dodges a super kick from Fatu, which lands cleanly onto Solo's jaw, knocking him onto the bottom rope. Priest then throws Fatu out the ring and clotheslines Solo. Strowman can then be seen charging around the bottom of the ring, ploughing into Jacob and Tama. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Priest south of heaven solo and covers him for the victory. SmackDown goes off the air with Damian Priest looking at the WrestleMania sign.
Glad Priest got the victory, and glad it wasn't just the Bloodline show with Priest and Strowman just being thrown to the wolves. Because you know what they're like. Sikoa and Fatu back. Bosh, we're going to smash everyone. Yeah. But they've got this build of a bit of tension, and now Fatu super kicked Solo. Solo's going to be like, why are you super kicking me? Fatu will be like, it's just an accident. I'll be like, okay. So we'll
still don't really know what The Rock was on about.
Just give it up. Yeah. Learn your lines like we don't.
Yeah.
Or,
don't know what you mean.
Oh, no, anyway.
Any thoughts or views that you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below.
Don't forget to go check out our musings video. A new one drops every Wednesday, which will cover our thoughts on this week's SmackDown as well as next week's Raw. The last one was about Karrion Kross and Charlotte Flair. Click the link somewhere. Whatever we do, we'll probably go with thoughts on The Rock next week.
Yeah.
That'll be a big one.
Yeah.
Possibly other bits and bobs. But anyway, stay tuned. You'll see it. Thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.